Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about setting up users and storage and how to properly access them in Truenas, since I have gotten maybe 7 or 8 emails of different users asking me how to do this. I'm not going to start from zero, meaning I'm not going to go through the installation of Truenas and setting up an environment, so on and so forth. I'm going to start this video with the assumption that you already have Truenas and you're ready to perform the configuration. Currently, what you are looking at is the Truenas core installation, virtualized in a 4-core system with 4 gigs of RAM and just a bunch of storage. As you can see, the most basic setup has been done, and let's go ahead and sign in. Whoops, sorry, yeah, forgot it. Okay, and we are logged in. And just so you know that it's literally just a very basic setup. There has been no configuration. And again, to reiterate, this is going off of the assumption that you already have your Truenas system set up and ready to go, and we just need to perform the configuration. Okay, let us begin. Okay, that's weird. Okay, that was weird. Whatever. In either way, first and foremost, before we even begin, you are going to go down to storage, pools, and you're gonna set up your pool. For me, it's already done. Second, you wanna go under accounts, users, and set up your 1, 2, 5 users, whatever. So let's go ahead and set up 2 users. So Bob Belcher. And password is gonna be pass123. We're not gonna worry about directories and permissions, and we're not gonna worry about authentication. And we're just gonna create the username and the password, and we're just gonna click on submit. Second user I want to make is gonna be Linda Belcher. And then password. Okie dokie. And again, we are just gonna leave everything else default. We're gonna click on submit. So now we have Bob Belcher and Linda Belcher. We can only access, and this is probably because it's hashed, we can only access the root, quote unquote, of the device itself. If you were to do // 192.168 or whatever the IP is of your Truenas installation, so in my case it's gonna be, this is what you would get. It might ask you for credentials, but it's going to give you a empty environment. So there are several ways that you can create division between how your users are going to access the space. One of them is going to be via additional datasets. So let's go ahead and create a dataset for Bob. And we're going to leave everything as default. Now, let's go ahead and create a dataset for Linda. And do note that I'm creating the dataset under the root of the pool. Linda Belcher. Very good. Now, we have our 2 datasets set up and ready to go. Let's go ahead and open the permissions of a dataset. As you can see, currently the owner is root and the group is wheel. Let's go ahead and give Bob and his group ownership, and then if you've had previous data in there, you would want to apply permissions recursively, but this is an optional feature that you can select. Go ahead and click save. Let's do the same for Linda. Linda Belcher. Oh, something I think I might have forgotten to do. Yeah, I thought so. When you're selecting your user and group, make sure that you click on apply user and apply group, and then save it. I apologize about that. I missed a step. Now we have our two data sets, and they're both assigned to somebody. So let's go ahead and click on refresh a couple of times. As you can see, we still have an empty space, but at this point, we have a internal division of how our data is going to be managed. The next thing that you would like to do is you're gonna scroll down and you're gonna open the sharing tab. And depending on what system you have, the most popular is Windows. So go ahead and click on Windows SMBs and then click on Add. Under, you're going to expand Mount and Store until you reach Bob and Linda's folder. So let's go ahead and add Bob's folder as an SMB share. So select Bob's folder, click on Submit, and leave everything else as default. If it pops, do you want to configure ACL? Go ahead and click on Configure Now. If you're in a home environment, just select Preset ACL and just select whatever most closely defines you and click on Continue. And then you'll see some of the access control list change just a little bit. Go ahead and click Save. Go back into Sharing, Windows Shares SMB. You're going to see that Bob's share has already come up. If we go in our Truenas environment, Bob's share is now available, and Bob has access to create and edit files. Now, let's do the same for Linda. We're going to click on Windows Shares under Sharing, and we're going to create another Windows SMB. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to select Linda's folder this time, and we're going to click on Submit. We are going to configure ACLs from a preset. We're going to select Home. We're going to click on Continue. And finally, we're going to click on Save. And we are back into the Tools window. Now, let's have a look and see how that has affected it. We're going to open Truenas, and now we have Bob and Linda's shares. Let's go ahead and open Bob's. Bob's share is still there. Great. Let's go ahead and open Linda's. Uh-oh. We don't have access to Linda because we're logged in as Bob. Now, let's see if I can log in as Linda. I am going to add a network location. Yes. What is sharing? // 192.168.0.108. I want Linda Belcher. That is great. It still gives me permission denied. So let's see. I wanna say remove. Okay. We're gonna do it the other way. We're going to map a network drive. Oops, 0.08. And we're going to connect using different credentials. Linda, Belcher, and then pass123 member. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry about that. It kept refusing to properly log me out with Bob's credentials, so I had to do a system reboot. But now that I am logged out officially of Bob's credentials, I am going to use this opportunity to log in with Linda's credentials. And Linda, Belcher, and then now we are logged in as Linda. We can access Linda's data, but we can no longer access Bob's data. And that's how we want it to work. Okay, so far we have created our share. We have accessed it. We can see the data. We can mess around with the data. We can do whatever we want. But that's under a Windows environment. Can we do the same in an Ubuntu environment? Or sorry, a Linux environment? Well, let's find out. This is Linda's computer. She's running Ubuntu 23.10 because she's a cool girl. Bob is also running Ubuntu 23.10, but his machine is taking longer to reboot, so we're gonna mess around with Linda instead. So how can we access our new SMB share on Truenas core from an Ubuntu system? Open your home directory. Without forgetting that we are going to be using the credentials that we created for Linda in our Truenas. Click on other locations. Under networks, if it populates, great. If it doesn't populate, it's not the end of the world. But in our case, it has populated, and we are trying to double click on sorry, we're trying to double click on Truenas and access. So, authentication required. Linda Belcher. Leave the domain as workgroup, and the username is whatever you would have set up in Truenas core. So in our case, the user for our Ubuntu virtual machine matches the user onto the Truenas core, so we're just gonna leave it as is. And the password is whatever you have it in Truenas core. So let's see. Hey, look at that. We have access to Linda Belcher's files. Let's go ahead and download some cat pictures. Why don't we? This is a this is a virtual environment, so it is going to be a little slower. I do apologize about that. When I save some more money, I will upgrade to SSD. But for right now, you will suffer it with me. You will embrace the suck of the slow hard drives. So, google.ca, cat pictures. Okay. Let's get him. He's cute. Oops. I'm gonna delete that. We just confirmed that we have data manipulation because we can delete data and create data. So let's save the image as. Let's see. Linda Belcher on Truenas. That's exactly what we want. Save image as Linda Belcher on Truenas.log. He's extremely cute. Let's save him as well. Look at this majestic one. Save image as. He's pretty cool. So let's save him as well. Save. So now, look at that. We just created some cat pictures. Let's open them. And our data works. As you can see, we can open everything that we have downloaded. Oh, okay. We don't have a file to open a VIF file. That's cool. So, as it stands, let's try and access Bob's files. Uh-oh. You do not have permissions necessary. You do not have the necessary permissions to view the contents of Bob's folder on Truenas.local. Look at that. It all just works. Thank you very much for joining me on this quick and dirty setting up of user storage and access on Truenas Core. The next video that I'm going to make is still going to be based on Truenas Core. However, we are going to be messing with Active Directory. Please subscribe. Your viewership is continuing to be a great support. I cannot thank you enough for the showmanship that you guys are showing and the continued support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.